Hi, everyone. I want to end the week by sharing an incredible, uplifting story that just made my day. I have a 39-year-old patient who had secondary infertility and basically came to me from out of state, was pursuing treatment for secondary infertility pretty much since 2021. And they've been doing treatments at 3 different centers prior to coming to see me. They had started with medicated IUI, which ended in a miscarriage at 7 weeks. And of note, known medical history of prediabetes on metformin, hyperlipidemia, as well as endometriosis discovered in 2023, where she had to have a laparoscopic removal of one of her tubes because endometriosis had damaged that tube. They had tried several IVF egg retrievals. They had done at least 4 elsewhere. In the first one, a fresh transfer was attempted of an unscreened embryo, and this was at 38-39, did not implant. IVF cycle number 2, they tried PGT, but they were not able to get any euploid embryos. They were able to just get 2 embryos tested, and both were abnormal. And in the last couple of attempts, they had a really hard time making any blastocyst embryos. They all arrested and could not be tested. So they were told at this point, this is an egg quality issue, and maybe you need to pursue donor egg at 39. So when I met with them on Zoom, I said, look, this is probably going to be a really tough road given your history. Likely there are significant egg quality issues, probably stemming from age and the effect of endometriosis. I emphasize the importance, the role of controlling insulin resistance as much as possible to try to optimize the ovarian microenvironment so that at least that's not a contributing factor. But I did say, listen, I support you trying again in a different lab that has a high rate of turning eggs into blastocysts and has overall high success rates. And she said to me, I need to know that I did whatever I could outside of knowing that sometimes your biology is just your biology. But if I can optimize anything by doing this in a different lab, I need to try. So they traveled to New York City, and trust me, it is not lost on me the leap of faith and the amount of effort and the additional cost that it takes for a patient to travel for treatment. So I did not take this lightly. They came to me, and the first cycle we used microdose Lupron. That is a more aggressive protocol that's typically better for low responding patients with DOR. And we did utilize Zymot to try to optimize what we could on the sperm side. She mostly did outside monitoring, so didn't really see me for any of her scans, but I reviewed all of her results, and it did work out timing wise that I was able to do her retrieval. We got 11 eggs, and all of them were mature, which was such a great result, better than any of her prior retrievals. But unfortunately, it was a big letdown in the end because none of them made it to the blastocyst stage. So we went back to the drawing board. This obviously knocked our confidence, and I did talk to her about further optimizing insulin resistance and being a little bit more compliant with the metformin. We decided to do a second round. Again, microflare was used because we had such a great response. And once again, we had another great response. We got 13 eggs. All 13 were mature. Amazing. That's the stim result I would hope for. And we got a good number that were fertilized. At least 5 made it to blast and were able to be biopsied and frozen. And 2 of them came back euploid on day 6 and day 7. So we were thrilled. This was the furthest we'd ever gotten. And so then we pivoted to the FET mindset, and I made sure she had a recent saline sonogram done a few months ago. It was done with her OBGYN where she lives, and we went through medicated prep, and she did a lot of outside monitoring and then flew in, the day before transfer. And today I got to call her and tell her that her first transfer with us worked, and she is pregnant with a great HCG level. And I am so, so happy for her. I literally cried tears of joy because it's been such a journey. This is after 6 retrievals, 5 failed retrieval cycles, with the 6th one finally yielding 2 euploid embryos at age 39 in a patient with secondary infertility, endometriosis. After her 4 failed retrievals right before coming to see me, she was told she would need donor egg. Based on her age and the fact that she was able to respond consistently to stim, I encouraged her to keep trying, and I'm so glad that I did. That is one of the hardest decision points, right, when you're at that fork in the road. And the reason I share this story is because I think that it highlights something that I tell patients every single day. These are key pieces of advice that I give patients every day. The IVF lab matters. The lab quality, the environment, all of it matters and can make a huge difference to your treatment outcome. Secondly, persistence can pay off. I think age matters more than your egg reserve when it comes to making a euploid embryo. And at 39, if you can respond to stimulation, I know you can make a euploid embryo. 40% or so of embryos that make it to testing at that age are going to be euploid. And then lastly, don't be afraid to get a second opinion. Listen to the voice inside your head. And sometimes you just have to try something new somewhere else. I know this journey can be so difficult, and every situation is different and can be really complicated. And not everyone is going to have a happy ending in the way that they envisioned. But it is important to have hope and to learn some of the really important lessons from stories like this. I hope the story brings you lots of hope and uplifted you today like it did me. These are the moments that make all of the lows, the struggles, the tough conversations so worth it.